Joining us live now, the senior analyst at the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, Malcolm Davis. Good morning to you, Malcolm. So how do you feel about this bro-down between Anthony Albanese and Xi Jinping, plus our trade developments?
Look, I think obviously it's an important meeting. There's a lot of historical significance given the anniversary of Whitlam's visit to China and the importance, obviously, of trying to restart opportunities for trade. But we should not overemphasize the issue of trade against the other more serious challenges in the relationship that won't be resolved by this visit. And I'm speaking, obviously, of the big strategic issues that we face with China and the issue of, obviously, ensuring that Australians are not held in Chinese detention without legitimate charge. So I do think that it's important that we have some sort of perspective and context on this visit rather than seeing this as some sort of path to reset the relationship back to what it was in 2012 or 2014.
Is there a touch of naivety about this approach, Malcolm?
I think there's a naivety within Australia that somehow we can recapture the past, that we can go back to the good old days of when we didn't have to worry about China, that we could essentially choose to sit on the fence and trade with China and have our security with the United States. Those days are gone. They're never coming back. And I think that we need to open our eyes and realize China's strategic ambitions. Let me be clear here. This visit, in spite of all the good it will do for trade and diplomatic engagement, will not prevent China from using military force against Taiwan if it seems that it can't force unification through other means. It won't stop China from engaging provocatively in the South China Sea. It won't stop China from engaging in technology theft. It won't stop China from undertaking interference in other states' political affairs, including Australia's. So I think we need to be realistic and we need to be sensible and open-eyed and not just see this purely through a trade perspective.
So do you think that the Prime Minister and the Trade Minister are getting that balance right, though? You know, that line, do what's in the national interest and push back when we must?
Well, let's see. I think it's the right line to take, sort of engage where we can, where it's in our mutual interest to do so. And clearly trade in certain aspects is one aspect of that. Although we should be concerned about China joining the CPTPP for obvious reasons. If it joins CPTPP, it won't leave. And from within the CPTPP, it can dominate the entire trade region.
Right. So I was going to ask you about that. So you believe that they shouldn't be allowed in?
Well, I think they should be held to a very high standard. And I think that the rules should be set to ensure that they don't dominate and control international trade and commerce from that position of advantage. And I think that it's really up to not only the Albanese government, but also Western governments in general to make sure that any entry by China into CPTPP is one that is done in a manner that doesn't undermine our interests. And I think it's fair to say that if China goes in, Taiwan must go into CPTPP as well.
I mean, at the end of the day, as we know, China does what's best for China. So can China be trusted to play by the rules?
No, is the short answer. It's going to do what it sees as in its best interests. And the rules, as they are stated in terms of diplomacy, trade, commerce, defense, security, all of those areas, I think will be tried to be exploited by China wherever they can. So we need to hold them to a high level of account rather than essentially assuming that they have the best intentions for us.
Okay, Malcolm Davis, appreciate your time as always. We'll talk to you soon.